Hello, everyone. So we will start now. We are live. Thank you for joining our webinar today. I can see that there are people coming in the webinar. I'm just going to start, and then you can just come in and come out, go out as you like. Thank you for joining our webinar, where I give some insights on how to access the German market. Today, I would like to give you some useful tips and tricks and also information about how to avoid pitfalls and traps. In general, I hope today you take out getting some influence to take direct actions, finding a start with some helpful tools and options for you to expand into the German market, and how to sharpen your profile for the entry. I think Germany should get many more solutions and innovations to grow from and with, so I'm excited for this webinar to take place today. As well as I would like to give you some valuable insights of the day-to-day business of Startup Campus and some experiences we have made during our journey with our clients. I hope you can hear and see me well. This session is a webinar construct, meaning that you can see me and you can hear me, but I cannot see or hear you. You can express questions or answers in the chat on your right-hand side. So let's try it for once. Which countries are you coming from? Please write it in the chat. I'm very curious to know. Maybe we can see some first India. We have India, Hungary. Hi from Poland. Great. Portugal is there. UK, Netherlands. That's super awesome. So many different countries. Thank you for joining this webinar again. So this session will take about 35 minutes with a Q&A session that will take place over the chat function. Following afterwards, after the presentation, you will get definitely the recording plus presentation slides for usage, as well as the opportunity to book a free consultation call with Startup Campus over the link that we will give you later. So to start, I will share my screen with you so you can see the presentation in full screen. Hi from Sri Lanka, Cyprus. There's so many different countries here. That's really nice to know. So let me share my screen. I hope you can see it. Perfect. I think so. So, well, then I would like to start with some quick words about myself. At the moment, the presentation, yeah, now it works. Some quick words about myself so that you know who you're talking to. I'm the key account manager, the senior key account manager at the German accelerator company Startup Campus Germany. I have been working with international clients around the globe. Our clients come from different industries with a slight focus on the medtech area, but we do have different industries also that we're taking care of. Everything from food industries to IT or anything like that. With my team together, we realize the creation, meaning the coaching, consultation, and very important, the execution of the first steps into a company's successful market expansion. We at Startup Campus focus a lot on the specialization of our customers. We're really into innovations, wanting to support Germany becoming more modern, digitalized, and innovative. We had and have customers from all over Europe. So, for example, Hungary that is now taking part, Portugal we had clients from, but also from the UK, US, and Asia. Now, to start with the actual topic of how to enter the German market, I would first like to begin with pointing out the question, why? Because you all showed interest in this webinar, I'm quite certain you already have a reason for the why. But I still think it's important to highlight some more reasons to expand into Germany, other than Germany being among the strongest economies in Europe. This means, as Germany is Europe's driving economic force, it might be clever to start reaching out to Germany first. Its economy represents almost 5% of the global economy. There are many ways to enter the German market depending on what you want to introduce. Let me give you some examples I would shortly like to point out to you. So you can, for example, diversify your client portfolio So to reduce the risk in market limitation and exploitation in your own markets, meaning that if one target group is not reachable for some reason, you might find another fitting target group in another country that you then can rely on. You also get valuable insights and feedbacks from the market, which is crucial to enhance your product out of a limited perception you might have from your own market. This means when we look at Startup Campus, for example, we get lots of feedback from the market for our products and services we represent. This feedback often differs a lot to the feedback our clients get in their markets. As Germans are very detailed, they might look at your product or service differently, and therefore it can help you enhance the innovation further. One client out of ours gave the advice for future clients to be careful of detailed questions by the German market, which is challenging, but great and valuable for your product development of the innovation you want to introduce. That means the steps how to do this gets great importance. We at Startup Campus recommend the following steps that we will look at closer now. Nevertheless, keep in mind, and I would really like you to understand in the first place that there is no blueprint of the how. The how means like how you enter the German market needs a deep and detailed strategy that should be elaborated. So this, what we're doing now today, should simply give you an idea where to start and what to focus on, but each of the steps can differ with sequence and length from industry to industry and distinction of products, services, softwares, etc. So to come back to my slides, we have a little agenda here that shows the steps of the go-market plan and also points out what I would like to talk about today. First, we look at the market research, where we get the information, where we get the data, and then get insights to identify market opportunities as well as challenges in Germany. The market knowledge helps identifying the key players, events, and previous contacts to provide a competitive edge. When looking at the strategy, companies need to make sure they have tailored go-to-market strategies that align with objectives, resources, and the right target market. You do the validation to test and validate your business model as well as product fit in the market. This also goes along with the market research and knowledge again, because it's very important to look at the product fit before starting the process of entering any market. During the validation, it's possible you need to get back to the point where you were before to make sure you have a product that totally aligns with the market needs. So you see, jumping back and forth is part of the real story. Within marketing and sales, the product, service, or software should be placed in the market with a unique CI. You need to implement a sales funnel to maximize conversions and revenue, as well as specifically looking into your contacts on the market. And last but not least, we're looking into the market entry, e-distribution, and scaling, where you get the first customers in the market, leverage your network, and accelerate growth with the development of the best distribution channels for your product or service. In this webinar today, we will take a closer look into the market research and market knowledge, so you get an idea of the first steps in more detail. Afterwards, I would slightly address the strategy validation, marketing, and sales, and move on to the market entry and distribution for giving you an insight of what to expect along your journey. Today, I will not dig deeper into the topic of scaling, as I want to put our focus on the first steps within the market entry, and scaling is definitely a step coming after a successful exit. This exit can take up to 5 years, so I'm quite sure the first issues are the most common issues companies struggle with, and I also think this is what is of interest for most of the listeners today. So the start of all is the preparation point that we summarize with market research. I summarized some questions you should ask yourself beforehand. They are limited, they're including but not limited to matters like if there's a general interest in the product or service you want to expand with in Germany. You can get that feedback by simply asking lots of different institutions within your target group or do the competitor analysis that will help with getting an overview of the market. The most important questions here are, do the Germans need what I want to introduce? And am I better or cheaper than the competitors? For example, introducing another shampoo can easily be successful even though German drugstores have full shelves if I position a marketing that is giving me market advantage. Also important is to find out about current situations and challenges the market faces, needs of the market, and niche places to look closer into. This means when doing your market research, make sure you understand the current situation of the country. For example, ask yourself, are they in a crisis right now? Do they face issues that I don't have in my country? For example, let's take COVID. I could not implement a new co-working space as people are simply not allowed to go out of their houses. If you do not execute a good market research and get a good market overview, you might be not suitable for the present situation. Furthermore, I would recommend to look at a proper competition analysis and keep in mind to have a long-term plan. Now you will probably ask yourself the question, which techniques, questions, and knowledge will help for this research to be successfully executed. Here, my first advice would be to do as the Germans do, meaning to adapt to characteristics and market demand as much as possible. I will give you a closer insight about characteristics later in my presentation again, but let's anticipate this beforehand. Germans are very unique. Who would have thought? For the market research, use previous contacts and or collaboration partners. These people or businesses should be German and be very close to the market. It also helps operating a virtual office in Germany, or also to go where you can meet valuable collaboration partners such as trade fairs and events. Startup Campus offers their clients to go to the main events within their industry, such as world trade fairs like Medica and DEMEA for the health industry, for example. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this if you are in the medtech area, but so to present their innovations with the support of a local German-speaking team. In general, keep in mind that there's no right way to go forward. I said it before already. So each and every pathway is very unique depending on the service or product you have and also the industry you're in. Let's look at the opportunities together you have in coming to Germany. Opportunities for you and your business to come to Germany are, for example, market advantages, better funding opportunities in Germany, a general income increase, different market views, and your improvement and increase of know-how, because you will learn from each market. I often get the question if Germany is startup friendly. As a result, Germany is one of the European leaders in innovation. Germany is among the countries with the highest purchasing power in Europe and has lots of different funding opportunities in the different regions. This shows fresh ideas can easily find a market. Coming to the second point, I would like to point out today is the market knowledge. Knowing which market you're looking into in detail is essential for a quicker and more successful entry. Let's look at the common issues then. Common issues we can see with our clients are that companies struggle not only with language barriers, but also with cultural differences and regulatory obstacles. Against the first point, you can use internet tools such as translation platforms for documents like DeepL, for example, what we really like to use. Nonetheless, German is a very complex language. So definitely make sure you let everything be double-checked by a local again. Cultural differences can be further looked into with internet tools such as Hofstede Insights, where you can get information on the grade of uncertainty avoidance, masculinity of a country, or individualism. This tool shows differences to your own country, so you understand the thinking of Germans slightly better. Also, it shows some do's and don'ts in Germany that I will address later in this webinar again. When it comes to legal framework such as GDPR, taxation, licensing, and labor regulations, Germany is very unique quite a few regulatory obstacles need to be taken care of. Within the medtech area, reimbursement is further a bigger issue most companies facing with. Please be aware if this slide is showing a lot. It is only to address very shortly, and I just want to make sure that you know that reimbursement in Germany for medical devices and products is very complex. This slide is really only for the medtech companies around here. There might be some joining today. I would like to ask this later on as well, which industries you're coming from. But anyway, I just want to focus that the reimbursement in Germany is always a big concern. It leads to different pathways depending on your product and service. As you can see in the map that you have in front of you, the possibilities of reimbursements are widespread, reaching from outpatient and inpatient frameworks to private sectors and public institutions. So if you would like to dig deeper into this topic, please make sure you book an appointment with us. You're going to get the link later on for this, and then we can look into it deeper together. So as I told you before, we're going to have a look at the German characteristics within the topic of the market knowledge. This is, I would say, the most important for you to look at. Therefore, I now dive deeper into the market characteristics so you have a slight idea of how Germans think, do, and work. So apart from the formalities that Germans love and that I already talked about, Germans trust most in their own technologies. Therefore, it is recommended to have a German subsidiary, telephone number, and even German support, as we Germans love our own language and our own innovations most. You would want to have a local presence as soon as possible, so to be able to meet people in person and gain their trust. Most paperwork is not translated into English. For example, when you're going to the notary, we have different and complex account systems and high fines if you do not understand exactly how things work. In case you plead ignorance with Germans, most times the Germans do not have pity and would strictly go after their own rules. As we are very harsh on laws, you would want to think about an insurance to keep your liability as low as possible. Paired with that, Germans most times need lots of information on products and services. They are suspicious in the first place, want to get the feeling they get enough information in order to make their decision. Going on with this, obviously you know that I'm also a little bit stereotyping right now, so just make sure this is not all the case for every person in the market. I just want you to be aware of some things. So Germans are stuck in their own tradition in a lot of ways, for example. In lots of places, such as restaurants and boutiques, even after COVID, you can still not pay by credit card. A lot of our clients actually didn't know this before and are not aware of this. This is why I'm pointing this out again. Although many industries have been modernized, many struggle to move to technology-driven solutions during the pandemic. Working from home was possible for some, for example, yet not that common. As Germany is divided into 16 different states, make sure you understand the rules and regulations of the state you're looking into, as they might not be alike and differ a lot from region to region. For example, these are public holidays we're looking at, opening hours of shops, they're very different. For example, when you're looking into Bavaria or Rhineland-Palatinate. Also here, some areas have high standards of punctuality and strictly separate private and business life. Although it might get a little more relaxed here and there, the majority of people will not be talking about private topics in the workplace straight away, and therefore a tip just from myself, talking about food or sports is always a safe. When it comes to business, we show modesty and conservative behavior, but do have plenty of possibilities for financial support and development of innovations. German business partners prefer to talk directly to the owner, not the manager. German business partners are cautious investors and prefer to see new concepts tested and proven successful in Germany before investing in them, even if a business has already been successful in its home or neighboring country. I saw Marta Conser is lifting her hand. Let us talk about the questions afterwards. I'm just going on with the presentation, and then you can just write the question in the Q&A section, and I will look at it afterwards. So we're moving on to the third point. I would like to show you some steps about how to get your strategy, the validation, and marketing plus sales going. In your go-to-market plan, one of the main topics is what I told you before, to check acceptance and consider possible adjustments. Secondly, personalize your communication directly to your audience and make sure it suits to the characteristics of Germans. For example, Germans want to be addressed with Mr. and Mrs. and their surnames. It is not usual to use the first names. Also, the title, like doctor, you should take very seriously. Moreover, Germans like longer conversations and online discussions, but prefer neat and lean marketing materials such as flyers or websites. For finding the right target group, we would suggest to develop a persona and prospect base you're directing your communications to. Set clear targets that are taking a 6-month-long plan into account and get an understanding of the ecosystem you are in. When it comes to due diligence, meaning the investigation, audit, or review performed to confirm facts or details of a matter under consideration, product safety testing and certification is mandatory for the EU market. To do business, you should set up a branch office, subsidiary, or you can hire a sales representative that knows the market very well. You can also pick suitable partners in the market, such as Startup Campus, that helps you with your expansion idea and the right strategy you need. I thought it's quite useful to show you some helpful tools and tips that you can use for expanding into Germany. Setting up a CRM, such as HubSpot, is, for example, an option for you and is free of charge. This helps you keeping the overview of your customer base and reminds you, for example, of follow-ups. Using a PMS or project management tool or a Gantt chart, that means a timeline basically, such as the online tool Roadmonk, supports you in keeping track on tasks and also on your milestones. Using social media channels like LinkedIn for targeting your target group helps you reaching out to them. Getting the help of a tax advisor and someone looking over your website for GDPR rules doesn't make you too vulnerable in the market. Then you can use Hofstede to understand the differences to your country of origin. And last, you can use the help of regional partners for fundings or setting up branch offices. The regional partners, such as by Startup, for example, they're in Bavaria, help you with links and network, but do not execute any tests for you. Please keep this in mind. My last point is this in this webinar is scratching only the surface of market entry and e-distribution. E-distribution is a step after the market shows interest in your solution. The distribution market has changed, especially after the pandemic, to purchasing going to online. Even hospitals purchase via websites and do, for example, community tests online. There are for sure advantages to have resellers in the market, but please keep in mind that resellers or distributors normally do not take over any marketing for your innovations, and also not the sales. We do get a lot of questions if we can take over the distribution part in Germany only, but we find it quite unprofessional if we did. The reason behind is that your partners in the market should understand your product. Everyone needs to understand your product, and you do need to do all the steps that I talked about today before displaying your solution in the market. Otherwise, it hardly ever arrives where you want it to arrive, and it takes much longer to succeed. So, in the end, what to expect when you want to come into Germany? I would like to, or I think it's important to point out another time what to expect when it comes to the market entry in general. So you are kind of feeling a little bit prepared after my presentation. And this is one that what I told you before, you should remember that it is a process that takes time and will probably not go as planned. Set clear targets, milestones, and pathways in a realistic way, and know that before getting actual business, it will take usually about 1 to 2 years, and most likely plan with 3 to 4 years. Also, investments should be 5 to 10 times more to open the new market. Therefore, it would be helpful to have a local ambassador or contact person so to adapt to specifications and characteristics more easily. Be prepared for difficult questions in the market and explain it right for the market purpose. After all, choosing a suitable partner in the market you want to expand to saves you valuable time and money. It is a long, hard journey. Having an experienced partner like Startup Campus Germany is a main plus and helps to get you where you want to get much faster and easier, I would say. Startup Campus has 5+ years experiences with accompanying more than 40 clients from 7+ countries, understands the market and its uniqueness, gives you a great network to start with, and the branch office in Germany you want to have. So let's move to the end of my presentation because I think it is now time for some Q&As. I hope in general this information was valuable for you, and I'm open towards any questions you might have regarding the discussed points. Yeah, as I told you before, write it in the chat and I will read them out loud and answer the best I can. We have some questions. Just write it down in the chat. So I can see that having a German representative is mandatory or strongly advised. Yes, thank you for this question. I would definitely say so. As I told you before, it is very important that we have, I'm just gonna, sorry, start my video again so you can also see me. Perfect. Marie, I definitely think it makes sense to have a German representative in the country because as I told you before, Germans are very unique. They want to talk to Germans, they want to have a German support. So definitely makes sense. It is possible, for example, for you to find a German that is in your country. That's also possible because remote work is very easy in these times or should be very easy in these times, but nonetheless have someone who really speaks German. Then I have another question. I hope I answered it now. If not, just write another question in the chat and then I will answer it as well. So the next question, will it be possible to download the presentation after? Yes, you will get an email and you will get the link to the presentation. What did you mean by market advantage? I think this was considering to or pointing to the question of when I said, do you get market advantage for getting in another country? I would say so. If not, please let me know. But basically, you get a market advantage when you have a product that really fits nicely, and also if it's cheaper, or then again, for example, when it comes to shampoo, it needs to be cheaper or better than the competitors. Then you have the market advantage for you, and then it's much easier to step into the market. Manori is asking, how long will it take to establish a company in Germany? Manori, it depends what kind of product, service, or anything you have in the end. It also depends on your target group. For example, when we're looking at doctors, it's a little slightly more difficult to actually, let's say, focus on the doctor target group, because doctors do have, and I think this is in most countries the case, do not really have a lot of time. It's really difficult to get them on the phone. They don't really take the time for innovations in Germany because, as I told you, the traditions are a little bit more, let's say, the modernization and digitalization in Germany is just getting somewhere So it just kind of depends on your target group. I would say, as I told you before, establishing a company you can quite easily, because there is, when you're starting from scratch, for example, then it's quite easier to get into the market, or let's say to also get regulatories or anything. But it also depends, and afterwards it depends on your target group. So I would also say maybe just book an appointment afterwards, and we will look into who you're looking for and everything like that. Startup Campus is actually also helping companies with their German market entry once they also have established a product already. So we're looking into the expansion rather than the establishment. Then Robin is asking, I experienced a lot of difficulties finding a notary that had experience with international law, shareholders from abroad. I also experienced difficulties finding a bank that would host international companies. Any tips? That is a good question. It's very specific. We have, for example, with Startup Campus, we have some notaries we're working with, and they are obviously then also, they know about the German market, but they also know about or have a lot of international clients. If you want me to give you a tip specifically to your target group or your industry especially, then please let me know, and I will, or just drop me an email. This is also in the end of my presentation. There's my email address. So please just write me an email, and then I will help you in that moment. I want to pitch our software development services. This one has been away. I can't see it anymore. Maybe my colleagues can get it back. So I think I can also see it in the ones that are already recording the webinar. I cannot find the question again, but anyway, then we would just go on. I would like to ask you what support you provide. Is there any way to join with incubator programs? Yes, we do support basically the whole execution, the whole planning of how to enter the German market for you specifically. So we are looking into niche opportunities, for example, if it's a product or a service that is difficult to get in. Also, for example, we have clients that are obviously looking into the cardiology, basically cardiology sector, and then we find out it's much easier to go over the aesthetic doctors, for example. So we always look at the different strategies we're doing. We're always enhancing them. We are doing all of this, like the market knowledge, the market entry, everything like this, we're doing for you at Startup Campus. So you just basically need to provide us your information. We're acting like a subsidiary, basically. So you don't need to deal with all the bureaucracy behind it, getting a branch office, getting an office, getting an address or a German telephone number. This is all that you can use from Startup Campus, and that makes it much easier for you to kind of have a German team, even though you are not sitting in Germany. Incubator programs is also part of our services. We're looking into funding opportunities for you and everything like this. I speak German, but based in the UK perfectly. German speaking is always helping. So this is definitely an advantage. Could you please explain how can I achieve visa permit from non-EU countries to Germany? I would need to look at this before, because the visa permit I'm not sure of from non-EU countries. This is also something that we don't really do, because we are, as I said, we are sitting in Germany, so you don't need to come. That is the advantage of working with Startup Campus Germany. You can just stay in the country you're at, and you have your team in Germany then. What is the best method to find a local person? That is a good question, actually. So we are working with our recruiter to find a very good, let's say, for example, salesperson or a KOL, meaning a key opinion leader for you. We are using different platforms. that Germans use to find jobs or also to publish jobs in a way. That could be, for example, Indeed. I don't know if you heard of it. It's a platform where you can just put down jobs, join, for example. LinkedIn is a very good channel to find a local person. Just write down, when you're trying to find a salesperson, write down sales Germany, and then you can easily just find someone. Whether products developed for France or Netherlands is possible to be sold in Germany as it is, or we need to customize it other than the language part, say in case of digital health products. You definitely need to customize it, which means definitely. You definitely need to customize your marketing, meaning that you need to look into, is my flyer adaptive to the German market? Is my product, you get the feedback normally from the market, which is very valuable to have, because if you're basically talking to 50 people and they're all saying it's a nice product, but you just need to also listen to the but and then adapt it. So it depends. Some products are very suitable for the German market. The German market doesn't have it. Maybe then it's also more about explanation, more about showing what kind of, how do I need to explain my product so the German market actually understands it. So this is kind of the customization you need to do. You need to look at, sometimes more, sometimes less. I know that the regions are very strong in Germany. Is it easier to target partners per regions or for the whole country? Also a very good question. I would definitely say try the whole country first, but be aware of the differences in the regions. So for example, let's say you have a 24-hour supermarket chain you want to establish. Do not look into Bavaria because they're basically not allowed to have that. So just look into your different industry and then see if it works for all the regions or if it's region specific. Please elaborate on limitations and disadvantages of e-commerce and e-distributors. Okay, so basically disadvantages. It's not really a disadvantage, I would say so. But I just want you to realize that we get so many questions of, can Startup Campus be our distributor, even though you're not even entering the German market or not looking into the German market. And this is something we need to make sure that, or you need to make sure that you just know distributors, e-distributors are displaying your product, but they're not doing the marketing for you. That means when there is no marketing, it's possible that people can buy your product. For MedTech, even reimbursement is then should be taken into account. But anyway, it does not really make sense to just display your product and not have any marketing going and neither knowing anything about the market. So do your homework first and then step towards distributors. I mean, in a specific field, for example, in public transportation. That is, I'm not quite sure if I can find the right connection to this. Maybe just write it again in a whole sentence and then I will answer it. I want to pitch our software development services to German clients. What's the best way to reach them? It depends on your services again. Try to reach them on LinkedIn, try to reach them on email, on telephone. It always depends. What was the website you recommended for cultural differences? It is called Hofstede Differences. And there you put down your country of origin, for example, Portugal, and then you put down Germany, and then you see the differences. So you're kind of aware of what is Germany compared to my country more aware of, for example. The presentation deck you get to. Are German companies close-minded in terms of working with foreign startups in the technology sector? Because you said earlier they have a lot of space for innovations, but then the other way, they trust in their technology ones, yes. Let's say, for example, if you're working with a startup in Germany, you have a German background. Yeah, you have a German subsidiary behind it, so it makes it easier because actually people believe you are German because everything they call, they have a German on the telephone. but you definitely have there's plenty of opportunities for innovations, and we also do want to have these innovations. So in Germany, obviously, we want to grow. We are open. We have so many funding opportunities you want to look into, and then it just makes sense. Have a co-founder probably as a co-founder would be good to establish our startup in Germany. Yes, depends on your startup, but definitely if Germany is the right market for you, just have a look what you have and go through the steps I told you, and then we can see if it works out or not. I also have two more. No, I actually don't have more webinar chat questions. So then I think we are getting to the point where I say thank you for the time. You can book your free consultation call now over the link. And my colleagues is also going to put the link into the FAQs again. You get the link again on the email, and then it's easy for you to just book a consultation. We can talk about what you're looking for, what your concerns are, and I'm just making sure that everything is very individualized on your company and needs. I would say thank you. Contact us if you have any questions, and I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day, and thank you very much again.